would like to say thank you. My name is Jason, and today I want to share with you a quest for confidence. This is my journey in facing fear. I'm going to try to do things a little different. So I'm going to try to motivate you, inspire you, and hopefully, if I do my job right, get you to take that next step. That's the goal. Thank you. So I am a master magician. I'm an award-winning speaker, and I've traveled across this great country sharing both my story and my abilities with tens of thousands of families. I also study one-on-one with one of the greatest stage presenters of our time, Blair Singer, and I've been very fortunate throughout my career. But it wasn't always that way. So I'd like you to take a moment. Just imagine you are a young child. You're about 4 years old. The doctors realize you're partially deaf, explaining why you have a language all of your own, one that only your mother could barely understand. How would your life be different today if it took 14 surgeries and thousands of hours of speech therapy just so you could speak your native language? All you would have left to overcome is a severe speech impediment. And if, like me, a fear, a fear of speaking to anyone. You see, as I grew, I realized that if you can't speak, articulate your words properly, if you trip over your tongue, people will assume you're stupid and treat you that way, unintentionally in most cases. But it happens. From the looks of some of you, maybe it's happened to someone you know. So as I grew, my fear of speaking grew. My confidence sank. It wasn't until high school that I realized I had a choice. So I made my choice. Very simple at the time. I chose to be invisible. Rarely seen, never heard. It's easy when you know how. You never take the same path twice. You always change things up so that no one notices you. You sit close enough to a group, it looks like you're a part of it, but far enough away that they don't ask you any questions. And most importantly, you master body language of leave me alone. It wasn't until I was about 17, I finally woke up. I sat up in bed and I realized something. I am scared. Actually, the truth is I was terrified to speak to you. I couldn't even look you in the eyes in those days. You see, fear controlled my life. Fear prevented me from living the life that I am meant to live. Now, that doesn't sound right, does it? You've talked about the youth and all the kids and everybody that you guys help. Would anybody here tell a 17-year-old boy or girl that you're going to live the life you choose based on what you're too scared not to do? No. Do you? So just ask yourself for a second, in your own mind, you don't need to answer it, but just in your own mind, ask yourself, do you have a goal or a desire that you're yet to achieve? Why? What holds you back? When I asked myself that question, I realized I needed help if I was to face my fear. And I remembered this one guy, very social, had the gift of the gab. Maybe you know the type. All the ladies loved him, all the guys wanted to be just. I thought, who better to be my mentor? And instantly I started having thoughts like, why would he help me? He's just gonna laugh at me. And you know, all those negative kind of thoughts that go through your head. And then I realized something. What do I have to lose? I was a hermit. I hid from the world. I was a professional ghost. That's what I did. So I could go there and the worst thing could happen and I would come right home and be in the same spot I was in right now. So might as well give it a try. I jumped in my car, I drove to his house, I knocked on his door, and when he answered, he was shocked to see me. Like I said, I avoided him for years. He was just too social. I told him my situation, how I needed his help to accomplish my goal. You want to know what he did? He stepped out the door. He put his arm around me and said, "Come with me, young grasshopper. We're going to go to a party." All right, we're going to go to a party, there's going to be people, there's going to be women. I instantly got scared. I felt my chest just tighten, my heart go 1,000 miles a minute, and my legs froze. I thanked him right there, I really appreciate it, but I'm gonna go home where I'm comfortable. And I started walking away, and he just put his hand on my shoulder. He's like, Jay, you came and asked for help. You obviously want change. Are you willing to take that step? I'll help you, but you gotta come with me. So I went. Somehow I built up the courage and I went. And I got there. And I got scared. Instantly became shy. In fact, what I did, I went and sat in the corner. This was my corner. This is where I sat. Every night we went out for months, years. Actually, I caught myself there about a week ago. But I learned something. I'm not the only one who is scared, am I? This one time was completely different. You see, there was a woman across the room I liked. She liked me too. And he comes and sits down beside me. He's like, Jay, you won't believe this. He wanted me to just go up and say hi. Now instantly I'm sitting there and I start having things going through my head. Thinking, I'm gonna stand up, my feet are gonna give out, I'm gonna fall flat in my face. Maybe I'm gonna get over there and it will happen the same as what always happens. I will freeze or get stuck on repetition and then have to walk away. I started planning my exit strategy right then and there. There was no way I was getting off that chair. Yeah, I'm sure some of the ladies can relate. You've seen the guy that obviously likes you, but just can't take the step. That was me. If you could even get me in the room in the first place. So I was sitting in this corner, and McLaren's sitting beside me, and he was fine. He'd been trying to help me for months at this point, and I just wouldn't take those steps. So he goes over, he's like, I'll do it. Don't worry, I got your back. Goes over and whispers in her ear, getting her and all of her friends to come to me. You see, what no one knew, except for my oldest friend, is that as a young boy, I had a dream. My dream? To be a magician. All those years that I hid from the world, I was up in my room, honing my skills, learning my craft, waiting for the day that I had an audience. Friends, that was the day that I faced my fear. And my first audience came to me. They were gorgeous. So I got scared. My chest started to tighten up, my heart started to beat, my knees started to get all wobbly, I started to sweat, and I thought I was going to collapse right then and there. And I realized, until I realized what he said. He told them, you know that guy over there, the one who doesn't talk? He's a magician. If you ask, he'll show you magic. They wanted to see magic. Magic. Magic I can do. So I performed. Now back in those days, I did not speak. But I performed. I performed every chance I got for everyone in that room because I found something. I found my confidence, and it was outside of my comfort zone. So I have a question. Where does your confidence come from? Is it what you say, what you do? Maybe it's what you know or what you wear. It helps. It's amazing how every little bit makes a difference. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It was years before I began to speak. Years before I began to take those serious steps. One baby step at a time. Friday night, Saturday night, any holiday we had, we went out and we were social, and I performed. Every chance I got. Now, if we were to fast forward 10 years later, I was in an organization similar to Rotary. Amazing group of people, just like we have here today. And nobody knew about my speech impediment or being deaf as a child or anything, because I'd overcome it, I'd had the surgery done, I did all the corrected, and I worked my butt off to get rid of both my impediment and my lisp. So nobody knew. If you asked, hey, you have a bit of an accent, where are you from? I said, where do you think? If you said Zimbabwe, I quickly Googled where that was and said, yeah, how'd you know? You want some information on Zimbabwe? Apparently I'm a Zimbabwean now. Okay, I've been from everywhere apparently. I can't count how many times I've been from Australia. I've never seen the country before in my life, but one day I'll master that accent. So this one day, it was very similar. Because a friend came up to me, he was actually the national vice president of the entire organization. So a good guy. Comes up and he's like, Jay, I heard a story today. Is it true you were partially deaf as a child? Yeah. Is that why we can never get you to stand up in front of the group? And at the very most, you'll talk to about 2 people at a time? Yeah. You see, I'd performed for thousands of people at this point. And I've spoken with a headset, never a handheld. But it was always a very specific script. Something like this just didn't happen. So he comes up to me and he goes, would you like some help? I can help you with that. Like, well, yeah, that's actually why I joined. Like, okay. And once again, I felt that arm around my shoulder. He's like, Jay, how I'm going to help you is I signed you up for a speaking competition. So what? Yeah, you are going to tell your personal story because nobody in this club knows. So you're going to tell it. What? You're kidding, right? Like, this is a story I never told, because if I said I have a speech impediment or I'm kind of deaf a little bit or anything like that, people go, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean, and they give me pity, and that's not what I'm looking for. We all have our difficulties in life. We all have our obstacles. I'm no different than anybody else. We all have our life. We face what we face, and it just is what it is. So I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to share it. I didn't want to be identified or the spotlight at all. But it was too late, because I apparently had asked for help and I was going whether I liked it or not. How do you tell no to the national champion? It's interesting though, because as a result of that, I actually now stand in front of everybody here as a national speaking champion, sharing this very story. Who knew? You know, it was then that I realized, I started looking back at how it worked. And I realized there's something in common with when I was young versus winning a speech competition versus every goal that I've ever accomplished. And I'm getting really good at it. I like goal setting, compulsive goal setting. I follow 3 simple steps. One is identify your fear. Who or what are you really scared of? Number 2 is to help yourself. Is there a knowledge you could gain, a course you could take, or maybe, just maybe, there's an amazing organization you're already a part of that would help support you along the way? But most importantly is step number 3, finding your confidence outside of your comfort zone. You can do it. I believe in you. Which is what brings me here today. You see, I've mastered being a magician. I run an entertainment organization that supports performers to live the life they choose and gives individuals like yourself the best performers in the area, as well as an entertainment specialist that helps you. I've accomplished that goal. Actually, in fact, we performed for Justin Bieber like 2 months ago at his dad's engagement party, so all the celebrities loved us. Like, we're literally considered one of the top in our field. And then I realized, like, you know, it's time that I'm getting comfortable. I'm back in my comfort zone, so it's time for me to take that next step. Which is why I'm here today, because over the last couple of years, I've been pushing myself. I've been sharing the story that I never used to tell. And it's been making a difference. It's been making an impact, as you guys know, everybody here knows. You go out to the community and you serve first. You give and you help and you give and you do what you can to make a difference in this world. So over the year, a couple of years now, I've been facilitating programs on sales and networking, things like that. But most importantly, I've been sharing my story. to motivate and inspire others and to help encourage those to take those next steps. So the reason why I'm here, to be honest, is that if you know somebody or a group or organization that would benefit from hearing my story, would you mind sending me an email so we can set up an introduction? Because I want to make the biggest difference I can in the shortest period of time possible. Because I believe we all have a little bit of magic. We all have something. For me, it was magic. That was my comfort zone that allowed me to get out of it. That's where my confidence came from. But we all have a skill set, an ability, and knowledge that you are better at than almost anybody else you know. And if you leverage off that, you can accomplish every goal you want and be well on your way to living the life of your dreams. And if you have any difficulties whatsoever, give me a call. It, on average, takes me about 30 minutes to help you find it. Sometimes you're just too close to it yourself and you just need someone to kind of ask some questions. I'm getting really good at it. Like I said, I'm down to about 30 minutes on average now. So just give me a call. Because I want to make sure and to help support people and do whatever I can to ensure that, we all take that next step. But remember, only you can make that choice. So take the step and live life your way.